Alexis, at what point in your life did you decide you wanted to make films? You've been in research and you've done composing, and you've worked with wave theory and things that are just beyond my comprehension. But what made you want to go in the direction of filmmaking?
Well, I've always been interested in filmmaking, and I've always found it fascinating for reasons I'd never quite understood. But I would read biographies of various filmmakers, the famous directors, and so forth. But a point came in my composing where I thought, well, I've got an unusual approach to composition. So I'm combining kind of elements of science and technology with elements of art. And I began to think, I wonder if this could be used in a film, because I've always loved film. I've always wanted the chance to make a film. But can you really do that? Can you? Because all of my compositions, they happen live. So they have some elements, say subatomic particles in a violin live, or making waves in a wave pool turn into music live. Film isn't a live medium. Film is fixed and you show it. And then it was about 2 years ago, or maybe a year and a half ago, that I thought, why does it have to be a fixed medium? Why can't it actually change? Why can't you have a film that changes while people are watching it? And it was at that point, about a year and a half ago, that I actually thought I really could make a film here, because it's my desire to make a film coming at the same time as my realization of how my unique skill set could bring something new to making a film.
What would you advise other people who are professionals in one arena of their life and then later on decide to maybe not switch careers entirely, but add something new to their plate? How do they begin? How do they compartmentalize their life?
Well, that's a very interesting question, actually, because there's been kind of two situations. There was obviously that situation with making a film, and at the point of deciding to make a film, it took a bit of a leap of faith, really. It was a kind of, I can do this if I get the right team on board. With the music, that was a bigger decision, because that had been something running in the background through my life since my early teens, and it was only when I was in my mid-30s that I decided I've got to change. I was working on Wall Street, and I had the best job I could imagine having, and then I actually switched to working for a startup, and trying to become rich through a tech startup. But the point came when I thought, I'm not starting my new career. I knew I either wanted to write or do music. I knew I wanted to do something more creative, and it wasn't happening. I was trying to be a singer-songwriter. I was trying to compose electronic dance music. Trying to come up with that magic disc that I could then release to the world to show what I could do, and somebody would give me the platform or the money or the way to do this. And it wasn't, nothing was happening, and I wasn't sure what to do. And then I thought, I've got to change my life. I have to change. I can only change my career if I change my life. And so I thought, well, what could I do? Well, what I originally was going to do is do a music degree. This is where luck comes into it as well, good fortune, if you want to call it. I decided I want to do a music degree. That'll make a big shift. And then I couldn't get on the music degree I wanted to, because they were moving it down the country too far away. I didn't want to travel. I searched at a closer university, and by chance I saw they had a PhD in computer music available at the university in my town. There's not that many computer music research groups around the country in the UK. So this is the good fortune coming into it, and of course, starting on a PhD, you start much higher up the ladder, and in computer music, composition is often a very strong element in the academic study. So I decided I'm going to stop this job that I'm doing, which was the best paid job I'd ever had, and I'm going to divide my salary to a third of its current value. I did have a little help, I must admit, from my family. So I had some family help, but not a huge amount, just a small amount. And I started at the bottom again. It wasn't quite the bottom because it's a postgrad degree, but it was starting again, and that was the big decision, was being willing to lower the salary and start again.